we're going to try and get them back for her. I've only been running this game since January, so I will ask you to bear with me if I am slightly nervous or if I commentate a little bit less. And we're going to be using Twinbee, who is the central robot character. It's Japan in the 90s, of course it's giant robots with sneakers. Let's get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ikimasu indeed. So, this is Pop'n Twinbee. This is a platformer where you can boost through the air and on the ground at great speed. And every time you use one of these jump button boosts, you will get 1 second's flight that cannot be interrupted unless you get spikes or damage of some sort. We're at the goal already, and the objective of every level is to get to the goal. And if you get there under the goal time, which I have in this case, you will get a cutscene that lasts 6 seconds, where you get 1 of every power-up. So I've got petaQ, I've got a laser, I have got traction on snow and all sorts of other goodies. And because of that 6-second cutscene already in the second stage, I am going to wait it out for an 8. Like that, because that's going to save a little bit of RTA time. If we were playing for IGT, I could go for a 4 instead. Moving on to the third stage, and these first areas are fairly open. The first level looped around horizontally. This one doesn't, so I'm fairly safe. Got a little bit of a manipulation I can try here just to get in fairly easily. And the good thing about the game is that you've got the chance to make your own way through it. You can find your own manipulations for the flight paths. You can play it safe whenever you want as well, because anytime you're struggling, you can just get your power-ups back. Onto the first boss, appropriately enough called Boss B. I was meant to do a giant punch attack there, did it slightly early, but that's okay. The giant punch attack and the punch charge, which you see with the purple bar in the top, are the only things that do 4 damage. Everything else does 2. So it's going to pay me to use that as much as I can. And Boss B is defeated, that's good. One of the rainbow bells back already. I will also just show you that there is a float mechanic where if I jump and hold up in the air, I'll be able to float down, and that will be very useful in some places because we've got some quite precise platforming coming up. But we're out to the first stage, and we're going to be going on into the Kirarin dungeon, or the caverns, and we're going to have a lot more blocks and a lot more right angles to boost off. A little cutscene between the protagonists there, and those were unfortunately removed from the European version, which is quite sad. You'll also notice that the game has multiple exits per level, and that's akin to Super Mario World. Again, that was removed in the European release, so we're playing on J-NTSC today. "15's a little bit slow, but that's alright. Again, because I've got 3 exits in this level, if I make a mistake, I can just get my power-ups back whenever I want. It's reasonably easy for a beginner to pick up, which I say having only started doing the run since January, and I'm down at 23 already, which is pretty decent. The world record currently is NG, who got a 22:48 some years ago when the game was being rerouted, and he and a couple of other people did a massive amount of work in rerouting the game. But I have managed to make a couple of improvements already as we go to the third exit in the first Kirarin dungeon. Missed my manipulation there, I was going to ride that platform down, but that's okay. We'll jump down to here, wait for this guy to throw his bomb, zoom through and get a nice free and easy 10. So there are a couple of things I found in the ice and snow stages which I'll be attempting to do for you later on. It's worth trying because there's no game overs in this game. And we're on to the meat of the game now, so we're going to be going across a big old spike pit. Single height spikes will just damage you, double height will kill you on contact. Some trademark non-thwomp thwomps there, taking a hit, but that's okay. You can also see that if you boost wrong, you will end up losing a little bit of time, but it's often quicker just to boost anyways, and you know, you've got safeties you can work on, you can play it as safely or aggressively as you want to. Fly down here. Let's just take it easy for a moment. Jump into the goal. Everything is good. The petaQ that you see behind me will kill enemies on contact. There will be a point when I can try and use those on a boss to do 6 damage in one time instead of 4. And we're on to the second boss, Twinbee. Hopefully I'll be able to show off the punch mechanic here. Do a nice safe manipulation, wait for him to jump. And I can jump away, he's set in position, Rinse and repeat. Oop. That's okay. So the shield that I've got there protects me from losing all my power-ups on the first damage, which is very useful indeed, as you can imagine. That's beyond being done with. So a good time today would be in the 24-25 minute range, and the good thing is that because you've got so many different levels, you can play aggressively, and you can shave down your IGT, but any time you're going to be less than 6 seconds beneath the goal time, you can chill at the end and wait, which is really nice because you can improve at your own pace. Going back through to cavern number 3 now, and there's a little manipulation I'm going to try here to get through the first section because there are pipes beneath, a la Scrambled Egg in Sonic Zone, which will send you back to the start if you go wrong, which I thankfully haven't. The rainbow stars that you see there will extend your flight time, so you want to avoid going into those. Zoom across here. Anytime you get 100 of the little bells, you'll get a heart back as well, which is a nice little bonus. A little bit of CPU lag there, apologies for that. Hopefully it won't affect the run. And every single time we get this cutscene, it's very nice, because you can take a moment to chill and think, am I going to play aggressively on the next stage? It's not quite like Momono, where it's a little bit more of an intense run. This one's a nice easy stage, it's very big, and by this point all the levels are beginning to loop horizontally and vertically, so it's very easy to get lost. Especially on the European version, where you've only got one exit to find, not 2 or 3. But we get there no problem with a 9, and we're going to get out nice and quickly. Onto the Eastern Woods section, getting more technical now, we've got water involved. Everyone knows water levels are a pain. This one is no exception. So we're going to boost twice along here, wait for the bonk on the wall, let go of the D-pad, we'll float down past the spike ball with perfect timing. Use the whip, which is Wimby's special weapon. Twinbee, who is the cousin of Wimby, and the son, I believe it is, of Dr. Cinnamon, has got a hammer. And Gwimby, who is a literal toddler, has got some other rattle. Yes, there is a toddler playing in this game, but he's in a green robot, it's all good. Getting a 26 there is fine. That level I am always nervous about, it does me over several times. That's good. I also want you to notice Dr. Cinnamon has got the SNES controls on his desk, but he is not using them. That doesn't make any sense. Music cue to boost there. Jump through, we've got some fake water and spikes here. Lovely music, of course, Konami at its best in the 90s. Bright pastel colours everywhere. Zoom through here, wait a few seconds, take the current. And I'm just going to play it safe there, I don't want to wait a few seconds for the cutscene. We are coming up on Pacapon, who is the 3rd stage boss. This has some of the cutest enemies you've ever seen. They look like you could win them at a carnival game. Absolutely adorable. And I'm also going to attempt to damage myself on one of them to speed the cycle up. Aren't they adorable? They've got gloves on, they're happy, they love their job. So on the next cycle we're going to have 5 of them coming out of this tube here. And I'm going to try and damage myself early on one of them to make it be 4 instead of 5. There we go. And Wimby helpfully tells me that the blue bell signifies a laser power-up. The good thing about the laser power-up is it will stop all of your forward momentum. And there are times we might be able to use that in the future to be very precise, particularly in the factory levels, which are some of the hardest as the game ramps up difficulty. We're about a third of the way through the run so far, and I hope you're enjoying it. I am only the 4th runner of this game. I definitely think this is slept on, it needs more speedrunners. I feel like it's really accessible as well, because you can always play as safely as you want to. You can prioritise IGT. Currently the board is just RTA based. We may switch in future because it would flesh out some of best possibly to a 21X. One more bell. Going pretty well so far. We are heading on to the Gachiboko zone, which is the Child's Fantasyland. This is where the levels really start to ramp up. This first one has 2 fairly easy exits. Then there's going to be a tough level that I'm going to concentrate on. You can slightly buffer your input into these mystery doors and down these slopes as well. Get all the bells. The pink bell is invincibility, we don't need that. I'm going to fly across some fans here. And then I've got a little manip I can do here where I fly through here, wait for those to pass, fly through there. Because I've got my shield, I'll go for exit number 2 first, through the spikes, in like that, no problems at all. And the second exit is pretty much in the same place, just to the left of the level. And you can also see Dr Warmon there, who is the evil villain who is wanting to take over the entire galaxy, who has apparently decked out every villain in the game in sunglasses. Very cool, but he must be very well off to be able to afford all of that. So, back through Gachiboko number 1. Number 2 is one of the poster boys for the entire game. It is the coolest level, and when you get that on the correct time for the first time, it feels really good. So I took a week in January to learn the game, and once I'd got that down, that was when I thought, I can actually do this. I can carry on speedrunning this beyond just a good PB in the 27-minute range. This is pretty good. Okay. No deaths so far, which is very nice. This is definitely a game where, in many areas, one slip is death. I am going to concentrate on the next level. I hope you enjoy it. I am going to be attempting a cycle skip on some very big spiked balls. Enjoy. Good. A lot of sliding momentum. Good. That's all right. And can we beat the ball? Yes, we can. Very nice. Say hello to a friendly snack with some sunglasses, because of course. And then we've got some non-proprietary sliding bricks of doom. Let go of the D-pad for a moment. And then jump through them. Looks like we're going to get squished. Not today. We should be able to fly straight into the goal. That's fine. Very pleased that level went well. Now the difficulty is going to ramp up quite a lot. And in the next level we have got a pit a mile long with death spikes right beneath. And I've got to do 6 perfect boosts in a row across that pit, or it's going to be curtains for Winby. Why a robot is vulnerable to spikes, I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Get under this lift here. That was frame perfect. Oh, that's a shame. 1 away from perfect. That's alright though. No game overs, we can just try again. We're still going to pick Winby. Okay. Good, that's fine. 1 death there is nothing to worry about. What you have to do is lower yourself by about 1 brick's height through those 6 boosts, and then you can avoid bouncing off that lift that you saw there, which will send you sky high. On to boss 4, Debunby, easiest of the bunch because he's only got 8 hearts of health. I don't even have to risk anything except I have just taken a bit of damage unintentionally there. That should be okay. That's a shame. So I've lost a couple of my power-ups. I'll get 3 hearts back for the next stage, and we're coming into the ice and snow stages. Most of the time you would do all of those in one go, but I want to attempt task manips in Ice and Snow 2 and in the boss, so I'm going to make a detour into the factory after the first exit to get that bit done. First of all though, we've got another technical level in the Fantasyland zone, less boosting in this one. Good. Got some elevators as well, travelators. Some flamethrowers to avoid. That's good. And if you hold the wrong direction for just 1 frame, you will end up flying in that direction if you've let go of your jump. That's good. There's a safe manip I can do in the final room here, where I can slide, and that will delay the appearance of the spike ball beneath me, he said, not delaying it at all. Oops. Hold right coming out of that boost, that's okay. So the ice and snow area, you've got a lot of slippy areas, you've got some beams you can climb across as well. And this is the area that loops horizontally and vertically, so you've got to know what you're doing. Wonderful music as well, cool snowmen. I would hope they would be cool or they'd be melting. Boost here, boost here, boost here. take a lift down to exit number 2 in an 11. In the task you can get a 10 in that. There's a 100% task that I thoroughly recommend you check out, because there are multiple exits, there are fairies and secret doors to collect in this game. We don't do that because we are sane. I'm going to take a detour into the factory, and this is where it gets really complicated because we've got all sorts of obstacles everywhere. More right angles, more death spikes. I've got a 10 frame window for the jump coming up. Let go of the D-pad to make sure you don't get knocked back. Do a manip there to get through first try. I've got a room with 4 switches. 1, 2. Missed the second one, so I'll do a manip here to fly up here in one go. And then we'll go up the top and fly to the next one. Jump down. This is one of the levels I've been able to do a little bit of optimization on. So in reality, humans might be able to get a 36 or a 37 instead of a 40 something we are used to. Grab the invincibility bell, because there are some guys with bombs here. We don't want to collide into those or the spikes. Precise jump there, that's a 46, that is fine. We are going to be on to Metal B. This boss caused me a little bit of trouble when I started, so much so that I inadvertently used a cheat code, pausing the game, to change character to Twinbee in order to defeat him, because Twinbee has a short punch range. You can't do that though, we've decided that's against the speedrun rules. So I'm just going to attempt a manipulation instead, where I get them both lined up in the same area. Like that. They're a little bit off sync, that should be okay. And then I can just carry on punch jumping for both of them at the same time. Like that. And hopefully do the same again, work out which one is which. And we should be through, and that will be happy. I'd be open to making a tutorial for this game as well if anybody wanted to learn it. I do think it's very much a good game to speedrun. 36 is fine. Obviously wonderful graphics and sound as well, so it's good for casual play as well. Going to be going back to the factory. There's another exit with a few precision jumps, including one where I've got to avoid flying into a pit of spikes on the wall, because of course. And the multiple exits aspect of the game was removed in the European version, so when I had this growing up I didn't have nearly as much of the fun as I should have done. You see the W in the background because this is Dr Warmon's robot making factory, and after this stage we are going to be fighting a robot that is slightly faster than us and is going to chase us through a whole level. Whip through there, because when a doorway comes along you must whip it. Hold left, spike warning, more spike warning. And then I'm going to boost down into the ground here, so that if I miss like that, I've got those spikes to fall back on. Hold right for a few frames and jump to get the hearts. Didn't get the manipulation. You can get through that entire room unscathed. We've got a few robots playing a game of catch here. Wimby's going to just funk out for a minute. You can fly through these robots in one go. There's about a 4 or 5 frame window for that. Didn't get it, that's okay, we'll just manually kill them all. You do also have to be careful not to fly into that ascending pole, you can get crushed, I have done that in practice. Thankfully not there, as Twinbee takes a nap with his lovely protecting robot by his side. All is well in the world, and with a lovely butterfly as well. Okay, it's the chase stage. Really cool music, let's see if I can get this one. Fine. Ooh. A little bit early there, that's okay. This should be fine. Spike warning ahead, you'll see the big exclamation mark sign, which is a really good indication to the player of what's coming ahead. Normally I'd stop there and get a 30, 32 is okay though. So we're going to go back to the ice and snow now and finish that area off. And after I do the exit on Ice and Snow 1, I am going to attempt to copy the tasks, because no human has gone top route in Ice and Snow 2 before, but I have found a way to make it work. I'll try that once, there is a backup if I fail, so cross your fingers in the chat for me please, as I get an absolutely perfect Ice and Snow 1, that's really nice to see. If I can get this, it will save 3 or 4 seconds over RTA, but it also means I'm guaranteed to have my health for the Delmby boss, which is again where I found a way to copy the TAS. Here we go. It's okay. Yes. That's fine. That is not quite as fast as you would want it. That is the first time that a human has gone the top route in at Pop'n Twinbee run. I am very happy that's come off. The spikes beneath you are very precise. If you're off by just a pixel doing your angled boosts, it is death. And I mentioned earlier the protector bees behind me. Let's see if we can get them in action as we try and fast kill Delmby. That's good. Good, we've got the fast kill. So again, this is the first time a human has been able to do that in a run. Usually that would take 14 seconds, it has taken us 10. I've got 4 extra seconds to do a bit of a dance behind an ice pole. Very happy with that. We have only got a couple of levels left before the final boss run. Hope you're enjoying this run. I will just say thank you so much for having me here at the Obscurathon. This is the first time I've run multiple games in an event. I feel like it's gone reasonably well. And having run 4 games, hopefully you found something you would enjoy running yourself. So, one more factory level to go. I'm going to jump through here, hug the wall to make sure not to go right where there are lots of death spikes. And then we have got a 1 height block area we're going to just nip into like that. Mash the jump button to avoid bounce back. Spikes. Make very sure you are not holding the left button here. Yes, I have done that in practice as well. Perfect. That's okay. And then we are going to get a reprise of Boss B, appropriately named Boss B2. Maybe the developers were having a bit of an off day when they created that, who knows. The only difference is he will run across the room twice instead of once per pass. 37 there is really good. Okay, looks like we're on for a 24. Fantastic. I'm also very happy to see the CPU issues have not ruined the run. As you can imagine, this is quite a sensitive game. 1 frame here and there can make the difference. So Boss B has got himself stuck in another ceiling. Poor him. His bandana is still there, his glasses are still there. He's alright. Very red in the face there. Let's see if we can do something about that for him. And obviously as well, you've got Winbee and Gwynbee and Twinbee you can play as. You don't have to stick to Winbee. Twinbee has got the same jump and punch meter up top. Gwynbee has got these controls reversed. You might find you prefer one of the other characters. DJ Backer, who was the first person to run this game, preferred to use Twinbee because it's slightly less sensitive, on the jumping. And we've got a picture of the 3 heroes there together about to save the universe. All is good. Icky mass. So on to Boo Bee, who is a bookish little thing. Reminds me of me when I was younger, except without the bombs. There we go. And in fact, in the final boss, we don't even need any of our power-ups. There is quite an amusing little safe spot in there. Dr Warmon needs a word with his contractors, because when he had that room created, they made a bit of a boo-boo. Oops. 1 more cycle on Boo Bee, that's alright. He is gone. We have got all of the 7 rainbow bells. All we have to do now is fight the final boss, and Dr. Cinnamon will have restored order to the universe, says Dr. Cinnamon, but it's meant to be Dr. Cinnamon, and everything will be happy again. And I'll give a shout out to Killerherd and to NG for being the pioneers of this run. Watching their runs inspired me to pick it up just a few months ago. Can't quite believe I'm getting to show this run off, but we definitely need more runners of it. Really cool music here as well. There's Dr. Warmon with the obligatory evil beard of doom. Here's the safe space. Dancing time. Here's J-NTSC Twinbee, a copy of the Winbee robots. He is going to copy us in every way, and when he doesn't, we can just take a hit and dance along. 2. It goes without saying, if you're interested in the runs that I have performed for you in this Obscurathon, head on over to my speedrun.com page, you'll find everything there. I have only done 2 hearts of damage at one point instead of 4 here, so I must have done a whip instead of a punch. 1 more cycle's okay, we've got cool music. Twinbee seems to be okay with this. Coming up on time in a moment. Only 1 death, that was really good. Time. There it is, peace and order has been restored to the entire universe in 25 minutes and 8 seconds. And we get a lovely little cutscene now of the 3 protagonists running along with their robots. And a lovely sunset. I've been petaQ, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, glory to you and your rainbow bells.